Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be breaking down the big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Now, if you want to go above and beyond, support the channel and get daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of long term and short term setups, definitely check out my link down in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into the market. All right, so welcome back once again, guys. And couple of things before we go through these headlines here. Tomorrow, 1 hour before market opens, we have the big data. We got CPI that's coming out, and then we have some home sales. But then again, we got PPI on Wednesday's session, 1 hour before market opens. Now, with all that, look at what's happening. Jay Powell getting investigated, and we saw that, 2 minute interview last night from Jay Powell. And I mean, his face was totally different. After that probe that actually got him last night, that investigation from DOJ. And I mean, I think he kinds of deserves it. And why? Because mishandling, at least that's my point of view, of inflation. And still, it's high, and he was late to raise the rates and then early to cut. And now, I mean, he's just doing pretty much nothing. And look at the way the market is going up. Market actually dipped last night, and I'm only talking about the futures market, guys. Because if you're not trading futures market nowadays, you're not gonna make nothing in this market. And why? I'm going to tell you. Because futures market, at least Nasdaq was down, I think 1%. What happened right after opening? It's gone. Just like that, it's gone. Nothing left. All the dips are gone. Stocks that were actually down 1 2%, it actually went up. As a matter of fact, S&P 500 and Dow climbs to closing records as traders look past Fed independence risk. Nobody cares about Jay Powell getting into an investigation by DOJ. Nobody gives a crap about Iran war or if we're going to attack or not. Nobody gives a crap about Venezuela. Market does not care. Now, does that mean that market is invincible and never will come back and revisit some of those areas? Absolutely not. We saw the VIX going up today 10% or more than that, I think 16% at one point pre-market. But look at what happened. Gave back pretty much everything. Now, if you look at some of the other products, I mean, look at right here. Look at this mess right here. Gold tops at 4,600. Look at silver up nearly 7%. And copper is also up almost 2%. So you think copper going up, this is going to bring down inflation? I don't think so. You guys let me know in the comment section. Look at platinum. Everything is up. And it's not up by like, 0.5%, some normal gains. These are some massive, massive gains intraday. Huge. Now, what stock market did today, you can see Dow hitting another brand new all-time high and pretty much closing at a brand new all-time high. After dipping, it definitely did not stay down. If you look at my screen, it was up today 0.17%. Nasdaq, this one was the down pretty much all the way down to what was it? 619 on triple Q, came back up green on the day 0.26%. S&P up brand new all-time high once again today 0.16%. Russell was down too, I think nearly 1%. If you look at KRE, that thing is down. And it actually went down over 1%, almost 2% at one point. But Russell did not give a crap, up 0.5%. Advancing 51.6, declining 44.5. So that tells the story. But then later on, we keep getting calls, and that's why the market just, it was just pushing higher. 11 sectors you can see on top. Basic materials led the way, consumer defensive, industrials, and then technology. Financial, healthcare, energy took a beating, and even without financial, S&P hitting a brand new all-time high without Max 7, guys. It's just insane to see these types of moves in the market. Stock market map. Look at this here. Look at consumer defensive, Walmart, Costco. I mean, it's just going ballistic. DG, DLTR, PG, all those are up. Look at Meta down nearly 2%. Google up, it was all over the place, but it did actually make brand new all time high, up 1%. Tesla up nearly 1%. Amazon down 0.39%. Apple flat. Broadcom up 2%. Oracle up 3%. Microsoft down. Nvidia, it was actually up over 1%, but gave back all those gains before closing. Now, you would think that when Nvidia goes up, that's when the market should go up, and we should see Nasdaq and even S&P making new highs. But look at the Mag 7, except Google and Tesla coming off all-time highs. What other names do you see actually making brand new all-time highs? Broadcom had a massive drawdown a few days ago, just going up now. AMD again was under 200 today. So when you think about this market, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's just insane the way things are going. Now, when you look at fear and greed index, you'll be like, okay, we're not into extreme greed, so I think there is more potential for upside, but look at how it's trading. And these types of moves, typically, it might take time, you know, it can, just go down drastically. And whenever that happens, a lot of people will get caught off guard. There's a lot of FOMO out there, like, oh, market's not coming down, so I'm just gonna go and buy it. And I have seen it many, many times. People are not waiting and just, jumping on that train that's already, gone. So we'll see how the market plays out tomorrow with the CPI. And now I think we need to talk about Broadcom. So let's get started on Broadcom because that one is at least making some moves today. On Broadcom, it's up over 2%. So we talked about it last night in my video over the weekend that it's inside this wedge or this channel, or you can call it even a flag. And look at what happened. I mean, this thing broke out today. And now looks like it's actually heading towards that the next big level, which is right about here, 357, and we're not too far away. So if Broadcom can actually stay over this highs right here, 352, which we are holding right now, we could see 357 and possibly higher up to 373.67 on Broadcom. So on Netflix, another flat day. Now, if you look at the all-time highs here and bottom of this candle from last week Friday, it's down about almost 36%, which is massive for the stock. And so far, there is no signs of any kinds of bounce back up to the upside. The only thing that's coming very soon, which is earnings, that can actually save the stock. Otherwise, you can see we had this nice wedge type of pattern and it almost was looking like it was going to break out to the upside. And then we had this massive bearish engulfing candle, and from there, this thing is just breaking down all the way down to almost that next big support, which I was showing you guys even yesterday, right here, right about here, 85 to 86. But so far, we're just pinned right here around 89 to $90. Today we went over 90, got rejection, came back. We cannot even go up like 1% on Netflix. So I don't know what is going to take. And I think if anything, that's going to move the stock. That is this earnings that is coming up here on Netflix. And if this thing actually goes over, I would say right now, I'm not even going to talk about 97 because it's almost $8 9 away. I think in the short term it needs to get over 90 and then especially 91.7. If we can cross all that, we could see a nice pop all the way up to 94 and then we can talk about it, especially this big level at 97, not at this moment. To the downside, definitely this key zone has to hold even through earnings right about 85.5. And if we get a dip down here, which I'm actually looking to buy more, after earnings, if this thing actually dips down here, I'll be adding more into my position right about here around 85 or even lower if this thing goes lower, below 85 come next week. On Nvidia stock, it's absolutely flat on the day. But if you look at my screen and let me just zoom in here a little bit, you can see this thing is just wedging or flagging, whatever you want to call it right here. And where did we go to today? Right about 87. And there is the 50-day moving average. I don't have it here, but it's the 50-day moving average that is sitting right about here. And also this line from the top, you can see these rejections now also rejecting here. So 187 got hit, and then immediately the rejection came in here on Nvidia. But imagine if this thing breaks out with some sort of a, let's just say, if we get some sort of a bullish candle here on Nvidia. Let's say we get something like this, next few sessions, we get something like this, a big, bullish engulfing candle. That's going to be the breakout that bulls are looking for. And if this thing breaks out, so far holding and respecting that 184, if this thing breaks out over 187 and then especially over 190, we get a massive bullish engulfing candle. That's going to be the one that going to take Nvidia up easily up to 196 and even possibly into 200s. But as of right now, a lot of consolidation. This can be also something to watch. If this thing cannot actually hold 184, then definitely Nvidia bulls are actually in trouble, and this thing can come down rapidly. And don't forget, we still have that head and shoulder pattern. We're just ping ponging here inside this wedge or flag pattern. We need to see a breakout or breakdown before we can predict the next move on Nvidia. On Tesla stock, it's up 0.89%. So Tesla is up again. And we talked about it last night how earnings can actually play a big role here on Tesla. And I'm not expecting some, massive earnings number from Elon Musk coming into this earnings. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, you can see Nvidia holding and respecting even today 444, which is this 50-day moving average. And then the next support is down here, the 5-day moving average, 438. That's what we held today. But intraday, we had a nice move up all the way up to 454 and now trading over not only the 50-day, also the 5-day. So we do have support at 444. 438, 432, 422. If this thing remains over 444, then we could see continuation all the way up to 464.75 and possibly into this gap right under 474. On AMD, it's up 2.22%. So we talked about it over the weekend that watch out, AMD might be coming down here. And look at what happened. 202 broke, and then what happened? We came into this trend line right about 199. And then from there, it was a nice bounce back up to the upside, all the way up to almost 210. And now it's trading right here just under the 5-day moving average, which is sitting at 208. So going into next few sessions, watch out. 202 to 199, these are going to be key levels to the downside. If that gives up and we trade below that level, we could be going into this gap down here, which is massive. To the upside, there will be resistance at 208, 211.48, and if we can get over these levels, this trend line right about 215. On Meta, it's down 1.70%. So Meta all the way back down to this 50-day, and you can see barely holding that 642 to 638. This is going to be a key zone here for Meta. If this thing does not hold here, you can see multiple moves down here to this line, and so far it held and went back up. Even right here, it held. We went slightly lower, then came back up really strong, and again coming back. So when you see a big name like Meta hitting support level multiple times, it will possibly break. And if that breaks, you're going to see a quick push to the downside to close the gap right here at 616.7. To the upside, if this thing stays up here at 638 or even holds up the 50-day at 642, watch out for a push up to 650, 656, 664, and then we can talk about more upside here on Meta. On Apple stock, it's up 0.34%. So Apple was down again today, down to 256, and looks like it's just slowly. This could turn into a bear flag. You can see already it's on the hourly time frame, you can see it just going sideways, slightly up. But here on Apple, guys, I mean, I want Apple to come down. I'm not really unhappy when Apple is actually down and coming down even more. I really welcome dips on Apple. And why? Because this is one of the great, stock out there where you don't see a lots of volatility, all the time. Maybe sometimes, like it was doing right here, it was going straight up, but usually it's very calm. And $2 3 move a day, you can make a lot of money. And if you can catch the dip at the right time and you're swinging, Apple calls or even shares, definitely a great deal. Catching Apple, especially when it's oversold, and this thing is still oversold. It just earnings coming up, and that's why I'm not trying to get into any big positions, but definitely will take shares if this thing comes down here, right about 253, this gap. So it's now over 259. That's the support. If this thing continues, it can go up to 265. But if this thing, like I said, bear flagging as well on the hourly, and you can see even on daily, it's forming. If this thing does not hold 259, a quick trip down to fill the gap 253, and there is support also at 250. On Microsoft, it's down 0.44%. So a lot of people are just gonna argue and say, well, market is bullish. I don't know, what are you talking about? Market is just too bullish and we should just buy into the market. Everything looks good. And this is where, I don't like it. And there is a reason, guys, because these are the market moving stock. Do you think Nvidia moving SMH or AMD? No. What's moving SMH? Well, I know that's also a trillion-dollar company, TSM. They have earnings, but you want to see Nvidia lead, especially when it comes to SMH or even S&P and even Nasdaq. And that's not happening. This is one of the biggest name out there. This is one of the big name, Microsoft. Look at today. I mean, do you think this is actually bullish? This thing forming this wedge pattern or even a bear flag? I mean, yes, it is a bear flag. When you look at the weekly, it's definitely a bear flag. We cannot even get out of this range. If everything is good, everything is so great about AI and everything, why is this thing not pumping? We have a bunch of gaps to the upside. We can get big money here on Microsoft buying this dip, but why dip buyers are not buying this dip? There is something wrong, right? So just because market goes up and just because things are pushing higher, some things, especially fewer names like names that are not big enough, it does not make sense. And that's why if you just, pull the trigger early on some things that are up and you think that, okay, forget about Microsoft and Nvidia and Apple, I don't give a crap about these names. Things are just going to go up and I'm going to participate in that rally. Yes, you can make money, but you're not looking at the internals, which these big names always have, a big weight on S&P and especially on Nasdaq. And even Nasdaq is not too far off from all-time highs. Look at how far off this stock is. Microsoft, look at this, guys. Huge, So Microsoft going into next few session, we have earnings coming up on the 28th. If this thing actually can get over 480, we could see a nice push up to 489 to 492, and then we can talk about more upside. You can see the 50-day also coming down. It's a negative slope. I mean, this chart does not look good. Let me just put it that way. If this thing actually cannot get back up over 480, we cannot even get inside this wedge. You can see it's outside. So if this thing remains outside the next critical support, which we came all the way down to on Friday, we were almost coming down today, 473. That gives up, hitting the lower band at 470, and then the next support down here at 462. On Amazon, stock is down 0.37%. So Amazon bar to bar, a new high here you can see on this uptrend. And we had a slight little pullback, but Amazon definitely looks like it wants to hit. It was almost there. Look at this, almost 249. That 250 almost came today. We'll see how that goes with CPI tomorrow. Perhaps we see a move up to 250, but that's the area that I'm looking at, whether this thing can break or we see a deeper pullback after hitting 250. When it comes back, watch out for the support. Rising 5-day moving average at 244, 242. That gives up 236 on Amazon. On Google stock, it's up 1%. So Google was actually all over the place. If you look at intraday, I mean, look at this 30-minute. We had this massive pop, and then this thing faded all the way back down to 325 and came back up again. And now sitting just below the all-time highs. As a matter of fact, we did hit another one today, 334.44, and trading at almost 333 or over 333 right now. So it's in the 4T club right now, and the news was out, and then I think it actually had that pullback. So here on Google, as long as it's over 328, we could see that push, like I said before in my video, that 342 mark we could be going there on Google. Now, if this is actually going to play out as a double top, we need to take out the neckline, and which is down here. It's not even in the picture right now, so watch out. 328 gives up. There will be support at 325 to 323, all the way down to 314 on Google.